We are here to introduce ourselves. I am Hans.
And I am Franz.
And we are here to pump up. All right, so let's elevate and talk about why vaporize. We're going to talk about the 4 top reasons of why to vaporize. That is the health reason, it's the savings reason, it's the efficiency reason, and one of my favorites is the flavor. So we'll get into it. We'll talk about the health reasons. I think that is for sure the first thing. I don't know. I think maybe the flavor is the first thing that brought me into it. But also knowing and understanding how healthy it was another thing why I was like, let's vaporize, create this thing and do it.
Right, because you were young when you created it, right?
Oh, I was 15 years younger than I am today.
Yeah, and so you were in it for the flavor back then.
Yep.
So now it's about the health.
Yep. And so I think one of the reasons why, one of the top reasons is there's, through the research, there's way less tars and carcinogens. Through some of the research I found, it's around 80 to 90% less tars and carcinogens. And, this is the DUFF right here. I call it DUFF. Some call it ABV, already been vaped. Some call it ABV, already been vaped. Some call it VB, already vape bud. Whatever, I call it the DUFF. Been calling it that for about 15 years now. And this stuff right here, we'll get into the efficiency and whatnot, but it's good stuff. So don't throw it away, you can reuse it. For the health reason as well, it's, for me, it's not just a couch lock. So I'm not just like being lazy, and that's what's good for healthy as well. It seems to be a cleaner high than when I smoke. Another thing that I noticed when I quit smoking, I used to smoke a lot of blunts, throughout. That's just the way it was. But when I really switched over to vaporizing, it was a lot less phlegm in the mornings and whatnot.
I bet, and congestion, and the smell even, just...
Yeah, I don't know. I think at the time coming back, I would say that you do develop a better smell, just like cigarettes hurts people smell a little bit. That was 15 years ago that I made that transition, so I don't know if I remember gaining it. But I think you're 100% right. You will get a better smell. So the downfall of that is you're not going to have that same breakfast you have with those loogies in the morning.
Right.
So,
you don't have to spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes in the bathroom coughing every morning.
Yeah. So time saved on there, better health, going to be better on your lungs, so forth. Another thing about the health benefit of it is it offers the highest bioavailability compared to any other consumption of cannabis until they can figure out how to intravenously do it. But yeah, I'm not going to inject that shit, because then I'm missing out on some other points of the flavor.
Absolutely. It would take away the whole experience.
Yep. And vaping is about the experience. Life, it's such a neat experience. And the other thing is the full spectrum, which when you're vaporizing dry flower, I guarantee you that's how you're getting the best full spectrum. Forget the dabs. You can enhance your raw dabs, that I call this raw dabs flower, but you can enhance your flower with some dabs. But I truly believe the flower is going to give you, it gives me anyways, the full spectrum.
I think it would give anybody the full spectrum because it's the whole plant.
Whole plant.
The whole plant. That's what we're vaping, is the whole plant.
Yep. You have all your cannabinoids on there, your terpenes, flavonoids, all that stuff, and it's taking it all off.
Yeah.
Why do I want to pay somebody to extract this, use these chemicals and shit and whatnot that I can get from a vape? So.
Yeah, I fell prey to that when I first started going to dispensaries. They're like, you need all these diamonds and stuff. And then I found flower again when I started vaping, and I'm so glad. Yeah. So glad.
Yep, and I think that's a health thing too, is because when you get your flower, you know exactly where you're getting. You don't know if there's some other left kind of butane or propane in there or whatnot, and then if there is...
and it's not moldy pot that got pressed or something.
I can see it.
Yep.
It wasn't bug-infested pot that got pressed or extracted.
Right.
I think that's one of the big reasons why they moved to this cannabis or oils and stuff, is people can't grow. So they move it there, they do that. And I'm sure there's people growing great plants that are extracting too. But that's a lot. I want to see the flower. I want to see the beauty. I want to see what, you know, Mother Nature, God gave me, rather than this man-made crap. It's, you know, one of the reasons why I don't really drink. It's a man-made thing. I don't need this alcohol. Nature gave me this wonderful plant. So I think, you know, for health reasons, those are a lot of the reasons why I think it's a much healthier reason than smoking. And then you get into the savings of it. The number two reason sounds like I just went through puberty. Yeah, well, I guess while we're talking about this, I'm going to start loading up a bowl.
Okay.
Today we got some black sugar rose from Garden of the Buds. So this is some of my favorite. Really, really good. It just seems to never stop vaping. And that's another thing you can tell if you got good herb or bad herb, is how many hits did you get from it?
Right, yes. And I never disappoint with the Garden of the Buds herb. It vapes for a while. I agree.
Yeah. Especially, I think this black sugar rose, you and I got like 20 plus hits out of it one night.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, so gonna go ahead and load that up. But yeah, so talking about savings.
Yeah, I think, so for example, what I tell people is, I didn't really consume 3 ounces a month, but if I was consuming 3 ounces a month flower, combusting, I'm now only consuming 1 ounce by vaping. And that was a stark difference for me. I mean, I'm on a budget. I can't afford 3 ounces a month. So it was best for me to be able to go down to 1 by vaporizing.
Right, and you know, a vaporizer is not cheap. It's an investment, but it's not a purchase, it's an investment. And you just said it, if you're going from, you know, 2 or 3 ounces a month to 1 ounce,
right.
I mean, I don't care where you're at, even in Colorado when we got amazing prices, it's still going to pay for itself in a year, double.
It does, yes, absolutely.
So,
and oh my gosh.
Yeah, so what we found is that you are going to use 1/3 to half as much product and get the same benefits of it, if not better benefits. So huge savings on your wallet. Again, you know, the bioavailability comes into play here, and because you are at a 50 to 80% bioavailability, you're going, if smoking's 30, so you're twice or more than twice the bioavailability. Hey, the math adds up. I go from 2 or 3 to 1.
Right, so now I just need to take 2 hits versus smoking with a lighter the whole bowl to get the same bioavailability, really.
Right.
Right, so like 2 hits from this is not equivalent, and I'm not saying it is, but it might be the same medicinal properties as smoking a whole bowl.
Yep,
that's
could be.
Really, it would be, because this is up to 80 and that's only 30, so wow, that's really incredible.
Well, I'm going to pass this to you, and then
now we'll take it.
And then the next thing I talk about, we've talked about, you know, we've gotten easily 10 to 25 hits per bowl, and you're not going to get that in a bowl when you're smoking. And then the other thing is savings is, again, I will save this Duff, right? So I can eat that. I can just eat it straight up, try it. It actually tastes really good. It's not like raw stuff where it's real fibrous. The fibers get broken down, and it's much like almost a nut. Once it's roasted up, it becomes more crunchy and breakable, whereas like if you've eaten a raw peanut or a raw almond or something, it's like squishy and more fibrous almost.
Yeah, there's a different texture.
Yeah,
peanut shells. I used to love sucking on the peanut shells and seeing if I could chew them all the way. And then spitting out what other fibers didn't stick. But yeah, I guess that's weird too, but not really. So that stuff I like to like sprinkle it on my salad or put it on a peanut butter sandwich. It is so good on a peanut butter sandwich.
Right, because it's like nutty and nutty mixing together. It's like they were actually meant to be together. So we got this. I'll mention this little thing right here. So this is a really neat unit. This shit is damn near bulletproof. I wouldn't call it bulletproof.
Yeah, it's not proof, obviously.
Bullet through. Yeah, it went right through. Went right through the disc even. But that's how durable these things are. And this was a 303 that we shot with this one.
Yeah.
So
wow, the 303, and we're still vaping out of it.
Yeah.
So from the time that it took to shoot it and then to fix it, approximately how much? So if somebody out there had one and they shot it, about how much would it take to fix it?
$25 about.
What?
Yeah, well, it depends. This one took about 25. We didn't have to fix the disc. It did come up, but it didn't pop off. But we had to put a new heater in there. This might have cost a little bit more because I think we also, the dimmer got popped out and we shot the dimmer.
Right.
So, but, you know, and we left the heater cover on, which I shouldn't have done that.
Right, okay.
So, like, you know, whatnot. So yeah, these are pretty durable. The next thing we'll get in, why vaporize, is the efficiency. Number 3 reason, I believe, is the efficiency of it. So one thing we found, there's research out there, and you know, about up to 60% of the active ingredients are destroyed when you're smoking. And that's because it's up to, you know, 1,000, 2,000 degrees. That cherry is about 2,000 degrees. And so, I don't really like that on there. I just don't care for it on there when I got the hands-free on there. It doesn't.
Yeah, I was trying to see if that would fit on there with the hands-free, but it does not. So
I mean, it kind of does. I just don't like the janky. It feels janky.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one thing. You can just have that. So yeah, that's that. I'll stir this up for you. The ABV, efficiency, that's the other thing. The efficiency of this is when you're vaporizing your herb, you are literally getting 100% of the plant. When you vape it, you leave a little bit in there, it's decarboxylized, activated, and then you can eat this up. So you literally get 100%. So that I find pretty amazing. And again, I'm going to throw this one back in there again. It's the bioavailability. You know, it's very efficient. You're at 50 to 80% bioavailability. It's crazy. Smoking is at 30. So, you know, 50, 80, we'll call it in the middle, about 65, 70. That's just so more efficient than smoking. Yeah, and so I think I just realized what's going on here. So not only am I going from 3 ounces to 1 ounce a month, and I'm just talking about my personal consumption, but now I still have that ounce compressed into ABV or DUFF or whatever, and that's activated, so I can still use that again. So yeah, there I've just, well, I already said I tripled my sack. So, I mean, even if you only double your sack there, you just triple it because you can still use that, right? Wow.
Yeah, in a sense.
So that's efficient too. That's savings and savings.
And so, like, if you're doing light vapes and you're not getting it up to that 428, pulling out the THCV and CBC, that stuff's still in here. Right, so you're gonna want to eat that up and do stuff at night. Like you eat some of this up an hour before you go to bed. You're gonna be sleeping like powerful.
Like a baby.
Yep. So then I got something in here, convection only vapes when you inhale, and that's really efficient too. You know, so unlike a joint or something like that, you got this thing going right here, and like right now, it's not vaporizing. It's just very efficient. When you inhale, that hot air comes over it and whatnot. Conduction vapes work very, very well, but the minute they're up to heat, they're always working on there, and they kind of need to get, you know, you need to be the efficient thing on there and use it up quickly because it cooks it up. So I would say a convection vaporizer for hanging around is more efficient than a conduction, but together they're equal in a sense when you're just going to use up the conduction vape quickly and whatnot, and not hang out between. So when you understand how both machines work, I'd say they're pretty close to the same efficiencies. But conduction vape, you're going to want to, once it's heated up, you're going to want to finish that bowl, because even if you turn it down, it's going to be sitting at that temperature and continually vaping as it cools down. Where convection, you're just done.
Okay, whereas like this bowl, it's still green, and we're still smoking out of it, like vaping.
Yeah, so I like to look at it too, and if it's still green, I actually would like to inhale slower to get hotter air over it, and it is green, or just turn it up a little bit, like that. Wait a little bit, 30 seconds for it to heat up, the glass to heat up and everything, and then you get a little bit darker roast. So you don't really need to know like what temperature at, you need to know really at what darkness your herb is at in order to extract everything out of it. Yes, you need to know the temperature, but I really don't know of a way to actually truly know the exact temperature of it. Like, you know, the air that's moving past something, when it's here, it's X temperature. When it gets to here, it's X minus something. When it gets to here, it's X minus something plus minus even more. So it's like, yeah, that did sound wrong, but yes, you can add negatives to equal more negatives. So it is. That was good terminology.
Yeah, good. I'm proud of you.
And then we'll get into, I think, really what the number fourth reason is. And you can put these reasons, what's the most important to you, because you're what's the most important person to you.
Right,
remember that. And so the number four thing is flavor. And that's where we're going to get into like the art of vaporizing. Only a vaporizer is going to let you become truly a connoisseur. I'm sorry. Let's turn that into an argument, please, because I will argue that all day. People tell me, oh yeah, it tastes good smoking a bowl. Maybe the first hit you can kind of taste it. The second, third, fourth, they all taste the same through all the strains pretty much. Like, come on now. Through a vape, at the beginning it tastes different, and at the end each strain tastes different. And that's when you get to really truly fall in love with each strain out there. Or say, damn, I hate that strain. Don't hate nothing, but dislike it.
Right, you get to taste it. If it says Fruity Pebbles, it's going to taste like Fruity Pebbles.
Or you hope it does.
Yeah, and so that's what I always thought. Oh my gosh, I got excited at all these strains out here. And I was like, oh, grape ape. And I'm going to go home and I smoked it in a joint in a bowl. And I was like, I don't taste grape. And then I vaporized it. And all of a sudden, there it is. There's all the flavor. Flavor.
Yeah. And like when you're vaping and everything, at the end of the flavors or the roasted, when it really starts roasting, like coffee, like nuts or anything that's roasted out, the longer you roast it, it brings out flavors at one temperature. At a higher temperature brings out different flavors. So really experiment. Run your unit cold, run it warmer, run it hotter. Be careful not to combust. Look in there. If it's turning a dark brown or you're almost getting black, inhale faster or turn your unit down. Or if it's not dark enough, turn it up or whatnot. And I'm going to turn this up just a tiny little bit. I like to experiment. I like to do it. And that's why I don't need those numbers. I play with the knob, you know, like that's why my radio don't have no numbers. It's got a light on it that tells me where it's at equal to a clock, and I know where I want to go with the clock. So all that digital smidigital, those guys are just pulling the fast one on us all, you know. But yeah, you really get to taste the whole rainbow. And I think that's really like when you truly start to fall in love with cannabis and the strains. And, you know, like people drink beer to taste all the different, not just to get drunk, but beer connoisseurs rather than alcoholics will drink the beer to, you know, taste the flavor, taste the artisan that went into it, taste the love that the grower put into it, the nutrients or whatnot. Yeah. The terpenes, you know, you're really going to taste those at the beginning as well. And terpenes, that's, I mean, the word's been around forever. Terpenes have been around forever. But in my world of cannabis, it's only really been around for the last 2 or 3 years, maybe. Before then, it was just the flavor. You know, that's the kind of it was. And there's like 40 different terpenes in there. And, you know, each strain, it's a mixture of each terpene out there, and that's how you get it. So when you get these sauces and stuff like that, that's not flour, they figured out how to get these flavors. They know they can measure it, like these super labs, they can measure all that stuff. They can figure it out. Then they can take terpenes, whether they're synthetic, and lots of them are synthetic, they'll just tell the other terpenes. Then they have organic ones too that come from fruit roots, pine trees or whatnot, that really produce that particular terpene. And then they'll add it into it, make a sauce. They call it sauce. Okay, and then they'd have diamonds that are just THC, and then they add some sauce to it, right? And you got these diamonds and sauce. Well, those diamonds, because I learned how that shit's made, and what they do is they take it, you know, butane extraction, propane extraction, whatever, and then they keep it warmed up in a vacuum oven, but they're not fully vacuuming it out, they're keeping it warm, and then they keep it and they burp it, they'll leave it in the butane for a long time, for weeks, sometimes weeks. Those diamonds are growing. No, there's no, you know, butane in that. Right. But then I don't know where all that other shit goes out to. Is that where the saucy stuff comes? Sauce. And they got to add it, and you know.
It's gotta be saucy. You need terp spoons these days.
And that's also why I hate against cartridges. You know. Yeah. Distillates, and that's brought down to nothing, and you got glycerin and add some sauce to it. And
saucy.
I don't know.
Get a pizza with sausage.
I have down here cleanliness of flavor. What did I mean at that time? I don't know, but I think I do. Is you get to truly taste stuff.
The whole plant.
Yeah, yep. And then you know, your clothes don't smell so much from it. So is that a flavor or whatnot? I don't know if that's a fifth thing, maybe. Maybe there's 5 things to smell.
So we could correlate this back to when I mentioned smell earlier. So not only will your taste buds get better because you're becoming a connoisseur and developing a taste palette for cannabis, but you're also not burning your taste buds anymore by combusting.
Right.
So I think when it comes to flavor, absolutely, you have replenished your taste buds. So I think that's what you meant by whatever
cleanliness
we're going to talk about, right?
Oh,
and then when it cleansed, like the nose, go ahead.
No, yeah, go.
Yeah, so when it goes back, when I was talking about the smell, like you'll be able to smell better and you can taste better.
Yeah, so we had a little interruption there with the amazing phones now. Like, yeah, I have all these little SLR cameras and whatnot, but a dang phone works better. But you got to turn the ringtone down.
Ringtone down.
So yeah, and then yep, you know, like I was thinking, like smell is for sure maybe a 5th thing, but we'll keep the smell in flavor because your smell or flavor, those 2 things are tied together. If you hold your nose, you can't taste something, you know,
right,
or whatnot. So we're going to say, you know, these are the top 4 reasons. And then, you know, we're going to bring up the cleanliness of the rigs and whatnot, and that's a big thing for bringing in your flavor as well. You know, when they get dirty, if it's smoke, oh my goodness, if you taste a bong, if you've ever tasted bong water, which I have, you know, not on purpose, but it tastes bad, and then that's going to affect your flavor. So keeping a rig there, you know, using vape, it's going to give you way much better flavor, and I think that's really good. But I would like to touch a little bit on smell. You know, like that is one thing, is when you do vape, that you don't stink. Like you can walk into any public place and nobody knows that you're high. And I'm not here to tell everybody I'm high or I'm medicated or whatever you want to call it for your needs. This is my personal, for me, and that's what our Constitution's about, is I have the right to pursue happiness. And so, you know, being a little high allows me more comfortability to be happy. So, but I don't want to be judged because people judge on it, or whether it's good or bad. Like, I don't want to be like, hey, you're a cool stoner. Like, I don't want to be judged like that.
But it's like wearing too much perfume. There's a time and a place, you know, to smell like you want to smell. If you're around other people smoking pot, or you're just going over to your friend's house to get high, then if you smell like pot, that's fine.
Yep, I agree.
I don't want to walk into a restaurant, you know, knowing that I just smoked pot and have that air come in and the whole restaurant turn and be like, what?
And I don't think I want to smell that in a restaurant.
No,
I'm there for taste and smell of that particular food and to enjoy your company while I'm there. So yeah, I don't want to smell cigarettes. I don't want to smell farts. Come on now, like
They sound funny, but sometimes they don't smell funny.
No, mine always smell pretty funny compared. But I bet other people tell me different. So, well, I think that's it. You know, I think not just fully it, but you know, why vaporize? You know, there's so many things. Some people will tell me, "Oh, I don't get high." You know, bullshit. That's what I'm calling on that one. Bullshit. Come sit down with me and show me how much herb it takes you to get high, however your typical way is, and we're gonna vaporize that.
Yeah.
And if you finish it, you're gonna be sitting there like a little child.
Finished.
No.
And I'm pretty stoned.
Yeah, I'm like, you know, you probably can tell we're rambling now.
Yeah.
Rather than going through with our thing as a thing.
We still at least got a whole nother session out of this, so we could sit here and vape as much as we did now, again, out of that bowl there. I'm going to go back and have to count how many that we took.
Yeah, it's still vaping.
Yeah.
I can see it down, and, you know, it just started. Oh, I'm all. See, I am.
Come tell me you don't get high. Come on.
Like, yeah. And you can't stir your, I guess if you had a really long thing and you could take it through here and get it through and go through the little screen holes and stir it up that way.
Gadget stirrer.
But I don't know. So that's one thing, you know, her and I, Theresa and I, will, when we vape, we'll take like, you know, usually like 2 hits a piece, sometimes 3, and then pass it. Because it's not like a pipe where, oh shit, you took 2 hits, 4 hits, and the bowl's gone.
Right.
Or, you know, the whatever they were called, the California hits or the snappers, you know, where you just take 1 hit and go. Like, all right, cool, that you're getting it for your taste, but it's still, you know, 95% burnt shit, and you're mixing your first good flavor hit you could get with a lighter, mixed in later. So, yeah, I still smoke. I think flavor is the #1 reason why I smoke or vaporize.
Right.
Even over health, yes, it's healthier, but you know, I do care about my health and I try to be real healthy, but I don't eat perfectly. So that's stupidity on my part because I know better. So if you don't do something and you know better, that's stupid.
Yeah.
If you don't do something and you don't know better, that's ignorance.
Right.
And once you learn that ignorance and you continue to do the same thing, now you're stupid.
Right.
So I'm stupid on a lot of things.
We all are.
And that's okay. But don't blame nobody else.
Right.
Don't blame the cigarette company that you're smoking a cigarette.
That you're fat.
Don't blame McDonald's.
No, because, you know, they didn't force you to put it to your mouth.
And I bet you, truly, if you wanted to, I would argue this, that you could live off of McDonald's. Right?
Sure.
Healthily too. You know, don't get those damn sodas. Get a cup of water.
Right, exactly.
Right? Maybe get some of their salads they have. And if you're going to talk bad on their salad dressing, don't use so much salad dressing.
Right.
But I bet you
if
you could live healthy.
Could do it at Subway.
Yeah, I don't think we should talk about Jared.
I don't think so either.
He did some bad choices after that.
Yeah.
If you remember.
I do.
I don't even remember what they were, but I know they weren't good. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. And then yesterday I saw a cute costume for a baby, and it was like they were wrapped in Subway napkins and had some pickles and tomatoes on their head so they looked like a Subway sandwich.
That's politically not correct.
I don't think so either. But then that all ties in, so yeah, we just shouldn't discuss that anymore.
Yeah. So anyways, I think this is, and I think that is done. People ask, how do you know when it's done? Well, it kind of ceases to vaporize.
Yeah, we'll give it one last stir. It's pretty dark there.
I'm going to turn it up even a little bit more.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get anything. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah, so next week, don't know what we're going to talk about, our next episode, but we'll come up with something good. If anybody wants to hear about something, we'd love to know. I'd love to do some research and give us some bullshit to talk about. And thank you all for being a part of this. And
yeah, we finished it.
I think we're out of here. Yeah.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.
Bye.